I think this thing's on, right? Yeah, it is. Awesome. Welcome to the first live stream of the Milk and Cookies podcast. My name is Alex. Just me today. I don't know how to add other people, but we'll probably get that figured out sooner rather than later. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. The Bucks-Eagles game probably just started about a minute or two ago. If you got any questions at all football related, go ahead and send them in the chat. Other than that, let's get started, shall we? So, let's see. Let's go over the Bengals-Raiders game first. That was overall, it was a fantastic game. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm surprised that the Raiders stayed in as long as they could, but given how they responded to Week 18 against the Chargers, they deserved that. They deserved a playoff spot for sure. Other than that, they had a couple good plays. Bengals had a really good early start, and that was pretty much it, at least for that wise. What else? Let's see. What else happened, really? There wasn't really a whole bunch that happened, especially yesterday. The Bills absolutely blew out the Patriots, which I'm kind of indifferent about, judging I'm a Dolphins fan. But let's see. Actually, I'll be right back. I got something in the store. I'll be right back. Look at this. I got this for Christmas, actually. My girlfriend, one of her relatives, got me this from Mexico. It's a Dolphins poncho. A Dolphins poncho. I mean, where are you gonna find stuff like this? Like, isn't this some of the coolest stuff ever? Like, let's be real here. Come on. Right? Come on. But yeah, so I mean, go ahead, send your questions in the chat if you got any. Be answering pretty much every question I see, as long as it's not too bad or anything bad about the Dolphins. Thank you. I love it too. Let's see. Pretty much, what else is the games for today? There's the Bucks and the Eagles are playing right now. And what's up, Anthony? Welcome here. Anthony is one of our other hosts on the Milk and Cookies podcast. So I'm glad that he's here. Maybe ask a football question if he's got some. Give my take on the Raiders-Bengals game if he's got it. Maybe. See if that question kind of pops up. Other than that, let's see. What's the middle game? Is it the Rams and the Cardinals? And then there is the 49ers and the Cowboys. That's the 4:30 game. That's the 4:30 game. That's going to be a fantastic game. If you haven't watched our prediction video, watch after the stream. Frankie, Anthony, myself go pretty decently into some of the playoff games. I believe, hands down, the Cowboys are going to win. The Cowboys, I think, are going to beat the 49ers. I think it'll be a close game, judging at how interesting the 49ers have made some of their games. They have a good squad. They've kept some games close. They upset the Rams in Week 18. What else? Let's see. The Chiefs and the Steelers are playing in the later rounds, the later game, the 8:30 game. My mom's a Chiefs fan, mainly because of Patrick Mahomes. Only Patrick Mahomes, by the way. So the Steelers have had a pretty wonky way getting into the playoffs, having a 6% chance of making it into the playoffs heading into Week 18, and then locking up that last spot because, the Colts really dropped the ball bad. It was unreal how bad did they drop that bag against the the Jaguars. Jaguars came in. Trevor Lawrence looked probably his best that he's looked so far this entire season, in my opinion. And then Steelers beat the Ravens. The Ravens have looked abysmal the past 5 weeks. They've lost all 5 of their games, mainly because Lamar has been injured or they just had tough opponents. But they've had some closer games. Other than that, let's see. Then it also came down to the Chargers and the Raiders game, which was a tie. Which was not a tie. Should have been a tie. It really should have been a tie, but it wasn't. Let me see. But yeah, I say, if I remember correctly, I have the Chiefs winning, I got the Cowboys winning, and I have the Bucks winning for the 3 games today. And then I have I think I have the Rams winning against the Cardinals on Monday night. I'll have to check. I'm not too sure. I think that's what it was, but I guess we'll have to make sure later. So I'm going to just make this clear. I was going to do a video on this separately, but since I have the time and people can always watch this after the fact, I'm just going to say this now. Just a quick update on the Dolphins. Now that, I have the poncho on, kind of feel like I have to talk about this. So as the entire league probably knows by now, Brian Flores was fired by the Dolphins after having 2 winning seasons back-to-back, both missing the playoffs, unfortunately. But normally you wouldn't fire a head coach after 2 winning seasons like that. But unfortunately, this is the part that has gotten to me recently. This was news that kind of surfaced this morning, yesterday, and Friday as well. It has been revealed that much of the Dolphins players have noted that Brian Flores was rather verbally open with his discussions of Deshaun Watson to the team. He was not confident in Tua from the beginning. He has been a very bold figure, bold statement in general, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a head coach just trying to install a little bit of fear in their players to get them working. That's what Don Shula did when he was head coach for the Dolphins back then. But the problem is the results have not produced. Head coaches are able to do that if their team consistently makes the playoffs. But then after you see Brian Flores get fired, much of the defense was surprised by it. The defense was shocked. But then you look at more of the offensive side of the ball, and Mike Gesicki was rather optimistic about it as well. He didn't say specifically anything that kind of was like, whoa, he didn't like Flores. But if you notice, Mike Gesicki on a good day can be a top 5 tight end. Anywhere, anytime. There'll be games that he'll have 60, 70, 80 yards off of a couple catches, a touchdown. He'll look fantastic. In other games, he won't get targeted once. Flores has not put much of emphasis on the offense as he should have. The defense is what had made the Dolphins fantastic last year, and that what led us to this 8-1 stretch this past year right now. I guess it is this past year because we didn't make the playoffs. So you look at it from that way. The defense, I don't think the defense is going to be an issue at all. I love the defense. I think they're going to be fantastic. I think they'll be top 10 next year. Am I being a little bit optimistic about that? Absolutely. But who isn't optimistic about their team, right? The second thing that I would also like to mention is that the Miami Dolphins offense hasn't been good in years. Since the 2016 season with Tannehill was at quarterback, that was the last year that I could wholeheartedly say that the offense was worth mentioning, worth kind of looking at and saying like, hey, they're pretty good. Since then, Dolphins have barely been able to average above 22, 23 points in any given game, unless it's against a team that has no defense. Tua is passing, although he has shown great strides that he can throw 30, 40 yards down the field. He's being restricted to the same stuff that he was under Chan Gailey last year with the 5-yard check downs and then just let the receiver run. And that's honestly why I believe that Waddle has so much success this past year, breaking the rookie reception record. That's honestly wholeheartedly because 4, 5, 6 yards, throw the ball, Waddle will run for an additional 7, 8 yards. You do that a couple times a game, next thing you know, the guy has 9 receptions a game, breaks the rookie reception record. Don't get me wrong. That's a record that I never thought would ever be broken because Anquan Bolden was a legend. Fantastic wide receiver. Waddle broke it. And I think he's in contention for offensive rookie of the year. But then at the end of the day, you look at players like Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase deserves it 100%. Anybody says that Mac Jones is getting offensive rookie of the year, look at the playoff game that just happened last night. Not a thing happened. Not a dang thing happened. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. They managed to put up 17 points against the Bills defense. But the Bills defense is definitely top 15, maybe top 10, probably underrating it for sure. Other than that, the Patriots offense has been basically luck the entire year. They've had great strides. They have a good rookie quarterback. Their wide receiver core is an interesting tandem. I wouldn't say that they're strong, but they're not weak at the same time. It's what the Patriots have always been able to do. They get these receivers that nobody looks at, underrated, whatever, and they turn them into superstars. Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar looked great this year, despite him not having the world's most fantastic season for a first-round pick. Other than that, the defense has always been good. So seeing the Bills put up 47 points on the Patriots defense last night was honestly very surprising. Very surprising. The Bills offense is always hit or miss. Some games are obviously going to be better than others, but just yesterday was an interesting game. I'm happy that the Bills won. I don't like seeing the Patriots win. So seeing the Bills beat the Patriots, it made me a little bit happy, even though they're a divisional rival. They'll go on. They still have the 3rd seed unless Kansas City loses. I don't see Kansas City losing that, by the way. Other than that, the Bengals have had a fantastic year. They've turned around a fantastic season. They've had a okay season last year. Joe Burrow did get injured, but they were still able to have some light in it. And then the year before that, getting the 1st overall pick in the 2020 draft, selecting Joe Burrow. Then in the 2020 season, Joe Burrow goes down with an ACL tear. About halfway through the season, destroys the rest of the season, comes back, you get Jamar Chase 1st overall. And not going to lie, I was one of those haters. I was optimistic about Jamar Chase. I thought Penei Sewell was the better choice at the time. Now looking back on the season, Jamar Chase was for sure the best choice for him. I mean, Penei Sewell, he still had a good season, don't get me wrong. But when you look at what they were able to do with Jamar Chase, 1,000+ yards in rookie receiving yards, multiple touchdowns. He had that one game where in fantasy football he dropped about 60 points. I mean, as a rookie, that's fantastic. So that goes to show you receivers have been laid. Look at Justin Jefferson, that's now on the Vikings, who's had a fantastic second year as well. And then now you look at Jamar Chase. So now it's like, okay, maybe LSU wide receivers are a little bit rising in stock, in my opinion. They're not doing too bad. But again, I think it's just because of just those 2 receivers. Burrow played with both of them. They're both fantastic. Joe Burrow if he keeps playing like this, we'll most likely see the Bengals repeat in the playoffs next year. I believe that they can win the North again next year if they keep playing at this level. 10-7. They play at home as the 4th seed. They beat the Raiders in a very good game. Couple controversial calls. That one call, I'm not too sure why that was called. The no call, the phantom timeout. I'm sorry, that's what everybody's calling it now. The phantom timeout. I was not too sure about that, so that's something to make look. But also at the exact same time, you look at the Bengals have next week. So, assuming that Kansas City wins the night game tonight against Pittsburgh, then you're going to have all of the home field advantage teams win out, and you'll have the Bengals playing the Titans in Tennessee. Now, that alone is going to be a very, 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 very difficult game because, A, Derrick Henry's back. The Titans had a week to rest. Tannehill is most likely going to be able to throw for maybe more than 200 yards if we're lucky. A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. I mean, maybe, I don't think Michael's back. But still, that offense is fine. Kevin Byard on the defense, and much of that defensive line is still going to be nice and healthy. They're going to give the Bengals a run for their money. Who would I pick right now? I guess it just depends on how well they utilize Derrick Henry, honestly. I'm not sure. I don't know who to pick. I don't know what side I would like to go after. I would like to say Tennessee because they're the favorites. Derrick Henry's going to be back, but at the exact same time, Tennessee without Derrick Henry is not as good as they should be. They have fantastic depth at running back, with Hilliard, McNichols. They have great backups, but Derrick Henry is a generational running back that honestly you can't beat him. You cannot beat that man. So you just have to sit there and you just have to let you. Hopefully, you hold him to 3 yards of carry. You have to dedicate 5 guys to blitz him. Whenever you see him run, you dedicate everybody to hitting him. And honestly, if you're lucky, I don't see that happening. Derrick Henry is the most dominant running back in this entire league. And the fact that he was injured for half the season and was still, 6th, 7th, 8th in rushing yards is insane. You can't beat something like that. So the exact same time when it comes down to it next week, if Tennessee plays against the Bengals, give me Tennessee. Same thing with that. If you give me the Chiefs and you give me the Bills, give me the Chiefs. So the NFC side, the NFC is where things get a little bit tricky. So right now, I don't have the Bucs game on right now. Focusing on this, but I'll most likely be watching it afterwards. The Cowboys play the 49ers in Dallas at the 4:30 game. And then the Cardinals and the Rams play tomorrow night, I believe. So in reference for that, the only team that's, made it in officially to the divisional round is the Packers. I think it's safe to say that the Bucs are going to win. I don't see the Eagles having any type of comeback, any type of wild card, wonderland that they're going to win. And at the exact same time, the 49ers have been a great team so far. They've been fantastic. They've looked fantastic. They've looked fantastic. But as a Dolphins fan that has their first round pick, and also, kind of a Cowboys fan too, a little bit here. I'm gonna take the Cowboys, honestly. I know the offense hasn't looked as dynamic or as fantastic as they have in the beginning, before Dak had his ankle injury, but at the exact same time, I still think they're good enough that they're gonna win. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, even Cedric Wilson are all fantastic wide receivers. Dalton Schultz is a tight end that I don't think anybody would have predicted to pop up on anybody's radar, especially this year. The defense has been a complete turnaround of last year. Remember, the Cowboys went 5-11 last year to turn around, and now they're, 12-5, I believe is their record. 12-5 is a fantastic record to have going into the playoffs. You are the third or fourth. No, oh man, I've completely said this wrong the entire time. The Cowboys play the Cardinals. Yes, the Cowboys play the Cardinals in Dallas at 4:30, and then the 49ers play the Rams tomorrow. Okay, so I've got this completely wrong. So now my entire analysis is going to be a little bit different. Still give me the Cowboys. The Cardinals game that they had a couple weeks ago was pretty good. It came down to the wire, but at the exact same time, it's in Dallas again. The Cardinals in the later half of the season have not looked nearly as strong as their 7-0 run. They've had some horrible losses, like the Lions, and another team that they lost that they shouldn't have lost, I can't think of right now. But I'll still take the Cowboys. So the 4th seed still keeps the 4th seed. The 3rd seed right now is the Rams. Rams play the 49ers. Even though they lost to the 49ers last week, still give me the Rams. It was too close of a game for me to really say that the 49ers are going to win. It was overtime, and it was an interception that sealed the game. Honestly, that can happen in almost any game between a divisional rival. So I'm still going to take the Rams against the 49ers. And for the Bucs and the Eagles, give me the Bucs. I don't see any upsets this week. I don't see anything. There's no wild card team that's going to an away game that's making me think, wow, you know what? I think they have a chance. Every team has a chance. I don't think any of them have a good enough chance that they'll be able to win. If you guys think differently, let me know. I'd love to discuss it. But with that being said, now you have the Packers, the Bucs, the Rams, and the Cowboys. You have those 4 teams, just like the AFC, 1-4 is all perfectly fine. So then you have the Cowboys going to Lambeau, and you have the Rams going to Tampa Bay. Earlier in the season, the Bucs lost to the Rams. Now this time around, Anthony, if you're watching this, you're going to be happy. I'm going to take the Bucs over the Rams in the divisional round, and I'll have the Packers beating the Cowboys, assuming that that's how this wild card weekend finishes. On Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll be having more. We'll be having more analysis of this. You have what 4 be reduced down to 8, so it's further talks, further concentration on those teams specifically. So we'll go more in depth on this. I'm just saying this in general. So with those 4 teams, look at the AFC, look at the NFC. You have the Titans and the Chiefs, and then you're gonna have the Packers and the Bucks. I'll have the Chiefs winning the AFC, going to the Super Bowl, and I'll have the Packers winning the NFC for the first time after their 3-year straight loss that they didn't do anything. And I'll have them going to the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Packers. A part of me wants to say the Chiefs for my mom. I can't say that. I can't say the Chiefs. I'm going to have to go with the Packers. I'm confident that the Packers have more than enough firepower to be able to win this year. Furthermore, Aaron Rodgers will most likely sign a contract extension as long as they win, not 4 or 5 years, maybe 2 or 3, just to help solidify them a little bit more. Devontae Adams will then further sign up for that because it's Aaron Rodgers who wouldn't want to sign up. You're the wide receiver number 1. You should stay with him. And I think Green Bay has at least a couple more good years left in them until they need to really sit down, reconsider, and be like, you know what? We really need to look back on this, and we need to figure out if Jordan Love is really the answer to the backup behind Aaron Rodgers, because they made that pick in 2020. And I'm not saying that Jordan Love was a bad pick, but at the exact same time, they haven't utilized him enough really to say if he was good or bad. He played 1 game against the Cardinals during the regular season. That was only because Aaron Rodgers had tested positive for COVID. And the thing is that, you know what? The Packers did win, but the Cardinals also didn't have Kyler Murray. So it's hard to really gauge who really won that game. I mean, we know who won that game. The Packers won the game for sure. But who... did it? I guess what I'm trying to say is, did it prove to the league that Jordan Love is really a potential starter for the Packers and that could really bring this team back or not bring this team back, but keep the team in the neck of the playoffs? Or is it just like one of the other quarterbacks that's just kind of there? The 2020 quarterback class was honestly one of the strongest in a long time, in a very, very, very long time. Joe Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Love. Those 4 guys, honestly, I think they're starters. I mean, given 3 of them are starters, and then you have Jordan Love, but I think Jordan Love can be a starter. Matt LaFleur has been a fantastic head coach. I'm not going to go too publicly and say that he's one of the best, because he was given a team with one of the best scenarios you could have ever started with. It was the same thing with Kevin Stefanski in 2020. He had a team with Mayfield. I mean, they made the playoffs, but at the exact same time, that team was going to make the playoffs regardless of who you gave them. I bet if you probably got, Hugh Jackson, they probably would have been able to win the play. Okay, maybe not Hugh Jackson, but still. That team was well off equipped. Same thing with what Matt LaFleur did with the Packers. He came in and he helped the Packers keep their success. But to say that he revolutionized that team and made them as what they are now, I think is stretching it. I still believe that Aaron Rodgers is the heart and soul of that team. You can clearly see that in how they play. It's the same thing with Bruce Arians, honestly. Bruce Arians in the Bucs. You look at that. Yeah, Bruce Arians is the head coach, but who's really in charge of that team? It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's in charge of that team no matter what way you look at it. And I think it's also worth mentioning that the Bucs offensively is still still a powerhouse of a team, but without Antonio Brown, I think it's something worth talking about. So Antonio Brown in the Jets game, week 17, left during the middle of the game, just got up, left, threw his stuff into the bleachers, and took an Uber to the airport and flew back to wherever he's living. I'm assuming it's probably Tampa Bay. Sorry, it was Tampa Bay. I don't know where it is now. So at first, everybody was like, what is going on in this guy's head? Literally, because people believe that the CTE has started to set in. And honestly, I'd go as far as say, I'm one of them. I believe that as well. But I don't think Antonio Brown is in the wrong here. I really don't think Antonio Brown is the person that is wrong. I mean, he was given a 1-year prove-it contract. Now, many would be like, well, what does Antonio Brown need to prove? Look at what happened to him over the past 2 years. He demanded a release from the Steelers. to be signed by the Raiders, to be cut before the Raiders were even really able to play any type of a season, go to the Patriots, get cut by the Patriots, and then they end up on the Bucs. And then he wins the Super Bowl last year. Yes, and then he signed again, got another deal, etc., etc., etc. So then now you move on to this year. Why is Antonio Brown unproven here? Because his off-field issues are still present. Why do you show up in a hot air balloon to the Raiders practice facility and then go to the Patriots? You look like you're doing something, and then you don't do anything. You pulled like a Josh Gordon on the league. What is up with that? You know? So then he takes all of his gears off. He throws it in there. The Jets, even though they were winning at that point, still lost the game in pure Jets fashion. And then the story started to roll. They started to come out. Injuries has always been plaguing Antonio Brown, especially this season. So his claim saying that the team was forcing him to get back in even when he was injured, I believe it. Honestly, I 100% believe that Antonio Brown was telling the truth on this. I don't think he was lying. I really don't believe that he's lying. What's it called? He's definitely a character, to say the least. He's definitely a character. He's definitely one to bend the truth a little bit more than what he should. But to say that the team was forcing him to get back out onto the field to help win the game, that's something I believe. The Bucs were losing against the Jets. If the Bucs lost to the Jets, that would be one of the greatest upsets that happened this entire year. And then, last week, then you had the Colts-Jaguars game. But Chris Godwin got injured. He's out for the rest of the season. They have Mike Evans and quote Anthony, because Anthony talks about this guy a lot, Scotty Miller, who's probably really one of the faster wide receivers in the league right now. But you have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and then whoever's their backup. I couldn't even tell you who would be the wide receiver number 3 with Godwin being out. So now you lost Antonio Brown. Now you have Mike Evans. So now going forward into the playoffs, now this is kind of where it's going into the wild card after I went on a 5-minute discussion on Antonio Brown. If the Eagles want to play smart and if they want to win, they need to lock down Mike Evans. Locking down Mike Evans, I honestly think it will give the Eagles one of the best shots that they have at winning. The Bucs defense is still an issue for the Eagles offense, that is. I don't think that the Bucs defense will be suffering. I think they'll be able to block Jalen Hurts. Their line is fine. Their front seven is still one of the best front seven in the entire league. Their cornerbacks are relatively new, but they're nothing to scoff at. They're serviceable as of right now. And then having Winfield Jr. in the backfield is probably one of the younger talents that I'm interested in watching and seeing, just because of how fast he's developed in his second season. Furthermore, the Eagles need to be creative. The Eagles really, really, really need to be creative like they were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. The Philly special, not saying they should run the Philly special at all, because I think everybody knows about the Philly special now, but those weird bottom-of-the-barrel plays that nobody runs but you do in practice just for the heck of it, you got to bring them back out. You got to see what you can do, because this Bucs defense is going to be lasered in on those wide receivers. Devontae Smith, probably triple cover. Not triple. He's probably covered really, really well. Miles Sanders has had a pretty below-average season, in my opinion. He's been good. He hasn't been great. Jalen Hurts has taken a lot of the rushing yards away from him, as well as the introduction of Boston Scott and other running backs that they have in the backfield as well. So the Eagles really only have to lock down Mike Evans, in my opinion. I mean, of course, Tom Brady's always going to find the next open person. They have Gronkowski still, but you know what? You lock down those two guys, you force Tom Brady to throw to some of the younger, more inexperienced wide receivers, probably going to cough up a couple drop passes, and it'll give the Eagles a better chance of winning. And the Eagles really need to win on every drive that they can get. No field goals, no punting. So it's like, if you can go for the touchdown, if you're confident you can get a touchdown, then go for the touchdown, because that's honestly going to be the best choice that either of those teams have. The Bucs are going to be the Bucs. I don't think that the Bucs are going to lose. The Eagles have a roster that has surprised me. I remember earlier in the season, I thought the Eagles were going to have a top 5 pick. And now they've turned it around, and they currently are in the playoffs. They had 2 picks in the top 15, that being the Colts and the Dolphins. But now they're running, and they're looking as if their future's bright. If they're able to keep Jalen Hurts, or if they move on from him and they go with Gardner Minshew, I mean, they have 2 fantastic quarterbacks to work with. They have two great options. It'll be like Taysom Hill and Drew Brees was last year. Even though they'll utilize Hurts more than they do Gardner Minshew for sure. So you invest in some, honestly, I'd say just more wide receivers. I think that's all you really know. Quez Watkins is not a horrible wide receiver, but the only true threat that they have on offense is Devonta Smith, who is the third best wide receiver out of the 2021 wide receiver draft class, in my opinion, behind Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle. But what's there not to love about the Eagles right now? They started off slow. They sneak into the playoffs at the last second. Well, not the last second. They got it 2 weeks out, but still, it's pretty much the last second. But yeah, I mean, I think anybody that says that the Eagles are going to win is an Eagles fan or they're an NFC South fan that isn't the Bucks. I'm going to go with the Bucks. I used to live in Tampa Bay. Never was ever a Tampa Bay fan in my entire life. Never really liked the Bucks. I liked the Lightning until I got into hockey more, and then I kind of fell in love with the Florida Panthers. The Rays, not a big baseball guy, so was never really drawn to baseball. But in case you guys didn't tell, I'm a Miami fan. This poncho. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a Florida Panthers fan. I'm a Marlins fan on like the one time a year that I actually watch baseball because there's nothing else to watch. So that's pretty much it about that little introduction for me. Let's see. Anybody in the chat, if there's a team that you want me to discuss that's in the wild card right now that's going to be playing either today or tomorrow, let me know. I'd love to talk about them, give you my analysis on that. If you have a team that already played or they didn't make the playoffs and you still want me to do an overview of them, let me know. I'll do that as well. Just put a team name in there. I'll talk about them. But until then, I'm just going to keep going with wildcard rounding. Let's see. I already discussed the Bengals game. The Chiefs game, I don't really think I need to talk much about the Chiefs game, honestly. What's there really to talk about? It's the Chiefs. The Chiefs are number 2 in the AFC. They started out 3-4. They finished, what, 12-5? I mean, let's be real here. Do we really think that the Chiefs are going to lose to the Steelers in Kansas City? I don't think that that's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. The Steelers and Big Ben, they've had a fantastic season going forward. I'm really happy that the Steelers were able to reclaim some elements of how they played for the year. It hasn't been pretty, and they've had some really close games, but Big Ben deserves to have one more playoff run before you go over the Cowboys and what you expect from them. Yeah, absolutely. The Cowboys and the Cardinals is the game that's going to be the 4:30 game. I'll be watching that game in full focus. In case you guys have been relatively new to the channel and you haven't seen my demeanor towards the Cowboys, I would like to say I'm favorable towards the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys. I like them as a team. I think they're fantastic. I like Dak. The defense has been fantastic. CeeDee Lamb is definitely one of the better younger wide receivers in the league right now. But to say that, I mean, they're playing against a team that has not performed too well lately. They went, what's it called? The Cowboys have been better. They haven't been able to reclaim all of their ability in the first half of the season, but at the exact same time, they've looked good that they can make a deep playoff run. The Cardinals, on the other hand, have looked phenomenal in the early parts of the season, and then they kind of fell off towards the end. The Cardinals started out 7-0 on the season. Everybody thought that they were the clear winner of the NFC and potential Super Bowl champions. Now they are 10-7 or 11-6, one of those two. Which again is not a horrible record. You still made the playoffs, but judging that you went 7-0. And then you had more losses than wins after that point in time, that's a little bit of an error. Kyler Murray is a great quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins, I believe, is slowly starting to fall off a bit. His production since leaving Houston has not really been the most attractive thing in the world. Other than that, the Cardinals have fantastic receivers. They still have Christian Kirk. They have the younger receiver, Rondale Moore. They have AJ Green. They have a good wide receiver core. James Conner and Edmonds are good running backs. Their line is good. So Zach Ertz has been phenomenal since he left the Eagles. He's looked like a fantastic player. The Cardinals defense is still good. That's the part about the Cardinals that doesn't make any sense to me. The Cardinals on paper should be one of the best teams in the league right now. But whether that be head coaching or play calling or freak plays, I haven't been able to figure out what's really wrong with them. I think, honestly, and I hate to say it, I think it might be Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury has been known to overestimate and get in his own head. Starting off 7-0, everybody thought that they were going to coast a potential undefeated season. I wasn't going to say undefeated season, but they thought they were going to be number one guaranteed. To now be fifth in the NFC, nothing wrong with being fifth in the NFC. You're still top five. But now you're going to Dallas. All right, you're going to Dallas. Now, again, yes, the Cardinals did play the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, and the Cardinals did win. But at the exact same time, this is Dallas. This is playoff mode Dallas. This is a version of Dallas that we have not seen in a minute. All right, the Dallas Cowboys in playoff mode can be one of the scariest teams, and not for the reason everybody expects. It's not the team itself. It's not the head coaching. It's the fans. You're playing Dallas in Dallas with Dallas Cowboy fans. That alone should be terrifying for an away team. That's like, in my opinion, playing in Lambeau with Packers fans during the snow. Except for Dallas, it's an indoor stadium, and it's not nearly as cold. So with that being said, and I mean, let's be real here. The Dallas Cowboys fans alone are some of the most interesting characters. And I don't mean interesting in a bad way. I mean interesting in a good way, because they will get in the head of their opponents. They will get in their head. Because here's the thing. In the past couple of years, how many times have you heard Dallas Cowboys fan, it's their season. It's their season. It's their season. Almost every single year, right? And most of the time people will be like, oh, that's just Cowboys fans being Cowboys fans. But how many times, hi Lucas, how many times have you actually looked at Dallas Cowboys fans and you were like, you know what? It may not be their season, but they look fantastic right now. This is the Dallas Cowboys right now. Every team should be terrified of Cowboys fans because they've always said that this is their year. Well, guess what? This actually might be their year. The Cowboys have looked fantastic. They've looked absolutely, utterly beautiful in terms of almost every aspect. The defense has been better. The offense has been revolutionized. The offensive line is one of the best. Dalton Schultz is honestly one of the best not one of the best. He's one of the more underrated tight ends in the league, in my opinion. I mean, who's not to love their wide receiver core? CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Ced Wilson, who I think is injured, but you still have Dak Prescott, you have Zeke Elliott, and you have Tony Pollard, who might be the starter next year with how he's been playing. The defense has been fantastic. Honestly, you have the young defensive rookie of the year standout, guaranteed, Micah Parsons. I mean, the defensive line has been phenomenal as well. The cornerbacks and the safeties, even though they haven't been the world's greatest, they're still worth mentioning. Trayvon Diggs, 10 interceptions on the year. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Whatever. He may be the wide receiver. He may be the cornerback that has the most reception yards against. But you know what? 10 interceptions is still nothing to scoff at. That is still an amazing feat. That's still something everybody should be mentioning of. So with that being said, to answer the question, I believe the Cowboys are going to win this week. I believe the Cowboys are going to win today at 4:30. So give it by 7:30, 8 o'clock. I am for certain that the Cowboys are going to win this week. Knock on wood. My desk is made of wood, so I have made sure not to jinx myself. So I don't. What a fantastic live stream! Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane. Very, very much appreciated. But I believe that the Cowboys are going to win. I don't think that the Cowboys are going to be able to manage to mess this one up. Now, to go as far as to say, what do I think the Cowboys will do after this game? It's honestly going to depend on how the rest of the games follow. If the Rams and the Bucks lose, then the Cowboys would have home field advantage again against one of the wild card winning teams. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I think the Bucks and I think that the Rams are going to win. But at the exact same time, if the Bucks or the Rams lose, the Cowboys would be playing against either of those teams, depending on which one won and which one lost. So if the Bucks win, the Rams lose, the Cowboys would be playing at Tampa Bay again, just like in Week 1, which potentially an upset there, in my opinion. If the Rams win, the Bucs lose, and the Cowboys would be playing at Los Angeles against the Rams, which could be a toss-up depending on how Matthew Stafford plays. Now, if both teams lose, the Cowboys will be hosting whatever the 6th seed is, the 49ers at home in the divisional round. Hey, Adar. So you'll have either of those guys running. And if the Bucs and the Rams win, you'll have the Cowboys playing at Green Bay against the Packers. So it's just going to depend on which team plays when, how they play, who wins, who loses. It's going to depend. But if the Bucs and the Rams win and the Cowboys play at Green Bay, I don't see the Cowboys winning. If both the Bucs and the Rams lose and the Cowboys host one of the wildcard teams that win, I see the Cowboys winning. Likewise, if it's 1-1, it's just going to depend on who they play. If they play against the Bucs, I think the Cowboys are going to win. If they play against the Rams, I'm going to need to see a more updated roster and to see who's injured and who's not injured. So I'd say that would be my overall guess on the Cowboys. I don't know how the Bucs are doing. If somebody can let me know how the Bucs are doing right now, that'd be fantastic. I hope they're losing, but I don't know, honestly. Thank you, Adar. Appreciate that. Thank you. If you guys have any football-related questions, please ask the football-related questions. Let's see. What else is there? Off-season teams. I'm trying to think. What team is right now in the off-season that might be a team that I would believe is one of the better teams? Let's see. Colts, I think, are going to fall next year. I don't see them doing anything too fancy, too great. What else? Thoughts on Tom Brady? Oh boy. Oh my goodness. I have very opinionated thoughts on Tom Brady. I have very, very, very opinionated thoughts on Tom Brady. I do not like Tom Brady in the slightest. I respect the absolute crap out of him. I do not like him one bit. Mainly again as a Dolphins fan. Oh, you feeling with the Lions losing every Thanksgiving? Well, wait, let me finish about Tom Brady and then I'll answer that one. I'll get right there. So, let's see. So Tom Brady has destroyed Dolphin seasons for 20 years before signing with the Bucs. I was happy to hear that he wasn't going to re-sign with the Patriots at the end of the 2019 season when they lost the playoffs in the wild card round. I'll get to that question in a second. Let's see. Jesus. Now that he's with the Bucs are in my backyard now. I live in Florida. I live not just outside of Tampa Bay, but I used to live just outside of Tampa Bay. I have family in Florida. Buck stuff is everywhere. There's Buck stuff everywhere that I know. Tom Brady's face is on everything. I respect Tom Brady. I don't like him. And I don't like that he's winning so many times. How do I feel about the Lions losing every Thanksgiving? That's just the Lions being the Lions. It's just going to be it's just going to depend on who is playing with the Lions and who's going to be winning with them. As of right now, the Lions have looked a lot better than what they did at the beginning of the season. All right, so this is getting into a Little League Baseball stream now. So give me a second to process that one. How do I feel about the Lions losing? No, I really don't want to discuss emus. But I guess since we're kind of getting on that topic, so how do I feel about Tom Brady kissing his kids? I don't think that should be allowed. I think that should be more talked about than what it really is. But it's not, unfortunately. What's my zip code? I'm not gonna say that. talk about the real stuff. Little League Baseball. My favorite player in Little League Baseball is Big Al. He hits dingers. That's pretty much my extent of Little League Baseball knowledge. If you know who Big Al is, he is the world's greatest Little League Baseball player. Like I said, he does hit dingers. That's all I need to say. I should discuss emus. Okay, well, that emu should not have been as close to the car as it did. It shouldn't have been. It was just there. What's wrong with kissing you? Oh, goodness. Okay, you should discuss. All right, let me finish talking about emus. So, emus. So, that emu shouldn't have been as close to the car as it did. It pecked the window. I was not too happy about that. I thought it was going to. Oh, Jesus, Shane. That's not going to be answered. Oh, my God. Okay. Thank you, Lucas. Yes, thank you. That emu was very close to the window, and I really thought it was going to go right through. He was a harmless emu. You're right. You're honestly right. He probably could have been a harmless emu. I wasn't going to take my chances with that. He pecked the window. Next thing I know, I thought his face was going to go, this was the emu, and like this was the window. I thought he was just going to go right through the window. That would not have been very fun. The windows would have been down the rest of the ride to Celebration. So would not have been the world's most fantastic thing to have happened, but if it happened, it did. Did I overreact about the emu? Yes, I did. I did overreact about the emu. Do I regret my reaction about the emu? No, because it was funny. I don't regret it at all. It was really funny. Is this podcast on sports or everything? Just sports, specifically football, but it might turn into a Little League baseball podcast as well now because of Big Al. I hope Big Al is doing I hope he's doing well wherever he is. Let's see. Predictions for the Super Bowl. Give me the Chiefs and give me the Packers, and I think the Packers are going to win 28-24. Who was the best quarterback of all time? Oh, God. All time, I'm going to have to say Tom Brady, mainly because of the rings, and he has, 7 Super Bowls now, and he's going for his 8th this season, which is unheard of. He has more Super Bowls than a vast majority of the NFL does have in history. I'd like to talk about the ongoing between capital. I don't even know what that means, dude. Capital and little man. Tom Brady little kisses kids, dude. Hey, you know what? I understand that Tom Brady kisses his kids. Trust me, I know that. I'm not saying that I support him because of that. I'm just saying, he's the best to ever play the game of all time. I'm sorry. There's nothing else really to say about it. He has 7 Super Bowls, countless MVPs. I mean, he's only lost 2 Super Bowls ever since he started 3 Super Bowls. He's lost 3 Super Bowls, 2 against the Giants, 1 against the Eagles. I know it's college football, but what was your opinion on the Alabama game the other day? Oh, it was fantastic watching Georgia win. I absolutely loved watching Georgia win. Alabama has been a powerhouse team for God knows how long, since Nick Saban took over the franchise, like I said, team. Since they took over the team since 2000s era after he left being the Dolphins head coach. I like Georgia winning. I was born in Georgia. Wasn't Georgia raised. But it was nice seeing Georgia win. It was nice seeing any team but Alabama win. Honestly, it didn't even have to be Georgia win. If it was Michigan, Cincinnati, if it was God, I don't know. What other team is there out there that, just any team in general. I would prefer except for the Gators. I would rather have Alabama kill the Gators if that was the national title game. But other than that, I would rather have any team beat Alabama. But I am happy that Georgia won. What's the worst case scenario of Super Bowl? Worst case scenario of Super Bowl will be the Super Bowl that happened. The Rams and the Patriots won a couple years back after the no-call pass interference against the Saints, because that was just a horrible Super Bowl. 13-3 was the final score. Lowest scoring Super Bowl all time. Was not my favorite. So the worst case scenario, if you're asking team-wise, the worst case scenario, in my opinion, team-wise, would have been the Bucks playing against the Patriots. But since the Patriots got eliminated, I don't have to worry about that. But worst case scenario Super Bowl in general would be a low scoring Super Bowl with horrible commercials, which was what happened in 2018 when it was the Rams Patriots one. I didn't think Georgia was going to win. I didn't either. I remember watching that game in the beginning, and I was like, well, Georgia's going to lose again like they did earlier in the season. I did not expect anyone really to win that game other than Alabama. But like I said, I'm happy that they didn't win. I prefer any team that's not Alabama or Florida. All right, so with that being said, I think we're going to wrap this up. So if you guys got any last-minute questions, please type them out now because we're getting on 50 minutes now. So if you got any last-minute ones, go ahead and ask them. If not, I'll let a minute pass, and then I'll keep going with any questions. Is water wet? Oh, Jesus. Yes. Have you heard of? Yes, I have, Lucas. Yes, I have. You don't need to continue with that. Let me think. Let me just go over one more football thing, and I think that'll be good, unless there's any more questions that need to be asked. For the rest of the games today, nobody's told me how the Bucks are doing, so I'm just going to assume that they're winning. Let's check. The Bucks, as of right now, as of 1:51 p.m. on Sunday, January 16th, are winning 14-0. It's the end of the first quarter. So I think that'll be the end of the stream. Thank you so much for watching. To my friends that have joined and have taken it over with Little with Little League Baseball and Tom Brady kissing children, thank you for joining. This has been an interesting live stream. It started off about football, and then it kind of divulged into Vive la France. Okay. I have no opinion on that. But thank you so much for watching. I think that'll be it. We'll probably have another one. We'll probably have more live streams in the future. Maybe not with me. I think I just kind of took over this one just because I wanted to see how well it would go. We'll probably have Anthony, Frankie, and or Leon on most likely on the next one just to get everybody on. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and we'll probably have more of these soon. So yeah, just thanks very much for being here.